Alrighty, so we'll start off sitting on your bums. Comfortable position, legs crossed, either ankles stacked on top of one another or just kind of in front like that. It's all the same. So you can inhale, raising both hands up over your head. Taking a deep breath so you kind of get a lot of air flowing down around here in your lungs. And then exhale, reaching both hands out really far until your fingertips touch the ground and you push out all the air at the bottom, like that. Inhale, raising both hands back up. Good, and then exhale, reaching hands out to the sides, and on the exhale, pushing all the air out the bottom. So you got no air left in you. Cool. One more time, raising both hands up. Then we're going to drop your right hand down to the ground and reach your left arm over your head. So you get that good stretch all the way from your armpit down to your hip, and kind of roll your left shoulder blade back over the right so your heart gets to look up towards the ceiling. On the exhale, push off the floor to come back up to center. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Dropping your left hand down, reaching your right fingertips over, extending those fingertips as far as you can towards the side wall, and then rolling your right shoulder blade over the left so your heart gets to look up towards the ceiling. On the exhale, coming back up to center, both hands come to the sky, and then glitter fingers of happiness and sunshine rainbow magic Friday come raining back down to the ground, and we'll come into all fours on your hands and knees. So with your fingertips spread wide underneath your shoulders and your knees under your hips, we're going to come into cat and cow. So inhaling to look up, dropping your belly down towards the floor, and then exhale, curving your chin to your navel, arching your spine up towards the ceiling behind you. And moving at your own pace here, but so long as you're inhaling as you're looking up with that nice long breath, and then exhaling, coming through the motion, so you're fully empty by the time your chin touches your belly button. And for all of the parts of me that don't touch the other parts of me, I just use my prana body, which is like your energy body, so you can pretend that your chin is actually touching your belly button. So we'll do one more time up, one more time down. And then we'll meet in a nice neutral spine. And pushing your heart away from the floor. So you have your scapula, which are your shoulder blades, and your spine rests in between them. So if you don't focus, you can let your spine kind of collapse in between your scapula, but we're going to try and push it all the way up and through. So that means that your shoulder girdle is really strong and engaged. You're going to reach your right arm out in front of you, left heel straight back away from you. And then on the exhale, we're going to connect elbow to knee under your body, and then inhale to extend. Hold for a moment, exhale to connect, inhale to extend. Again, holding strong for a moment, exhale to connect. Inhale to extend. For one more time, making that connection. One more time, extending out. And then coming back down onto all fours. Take a moment to resettle, kind of pushing your spine up through your shoulder blades again. Then reaching your left arm out in front of you, right heel straight back away from you. On the exhale, connect elbow to knee. Inhale to extend, holding for a moment. Exhale to connect. Inhale to extend. And as you hold for a moment, think about tucking your belly button into your spine. Exhale to connect. Inhale to extend. One more time, making the connection. One more time, extending out. And coming back down onto all fours. We're going to curl under your toes, press your fingertips into the ground, and come into a downward facing dog. So just for a moment, stretching out your calves, your hamstrings, you can kind of pedal your feet. And then widening out your feet a little bit to either side of the mat. We're going to hold still here and go for alternate toe taps. So you're going to reach your right arm to touch your left toes, left arm to touch your right toes. We're going to do that 20 times. So go at your own pace, but count out your own reps. And think about what your core is doing here as you're stretching out your hamstrings and your calves, maybe your glutes. You're strengthening everything all the way through your core into your shoulder girdle. And then once you finish your set of 20, Come all the way down onto your back. And we'll get ready for crunches. So crunches can be done either feet on the floor or feet up in the air. Kind of depends on what you're looking for. Hands can be across your chest or behind your head. Doesn't really matter. Just keep a good space between your chin and your chest. I'm going to go for a set of 25 crunches. So taking in a deep breath as you exhale, come up. So that you're fully empty by the time you get to the top, and then come back down. So to make these crunches really good and really strong, we're going to kind of like hold at the top for a moment. So that's why we stress that long exhale, because it gives you that time to hold the crunch. So with these crunches, it's less about how quickly you can do 25, more about how slow can you do 25. And the fun part is, when it starts getting really hard, towards the end, can you still use the strength in your core to bring your head and shoulder blades all the way up? Keep getting that good strong squeeze at the top. And if your neck starts to get stressed out, if your hands are across your chest, you can always use your hands to support your head. You just don't want to pull on your head. So it's still your abs that are crunching to bring you up. Well, I think I have 5 more to go. Cool. Let everyone else finish up theirs at their own time, but if you do those well, if you do those correctly, it should like really burn by the end of it. Your abs kind of right here underneath your rib cage, upper abs. Okay, so we're going to reach your right arm over your head so your knuckles can find the floor. You can just pause there for a second to open up that shoulder girdle. And then bring your left leg straight out in front of you. And we're going to try and touch your hand to your toe. So coming all the way up, so your shoulder blade has to come up, and then rolling on back. We're going to do that 15 times on each side. Try and move slow through this movement as well. And if you're like, I don't think I'm going to be able to touch my toes today, that's okay. Just coming up as high as you can is working the same muscle group. And over time, if you keep doing this exercise, you'll get up there to touch your toes. And then once you finish your 15, we'll just switch sides. So left arm goes over your head. Pausing for a moment there, just letting the weight of your arm stretch out your shoulder. And then reach your right leg straight out in front of you. And then same thing, touching fingers to toes on the other side, 15 times. We'll finish up their set of those. Rest for 2 seconds. You can kind of give your hips a little rock from side to side as we prepare for figure 4 crunches. So figure 4 crunches, we'll hook your right ankle over your left knee, and you can either leave your left foot on the ground or let it float up. It's all the same to me. We're going to do crunches straight up and down, so 15 on each side. So you can cross your hands over your shoulders or put them behind your head, and then crunching up as high as you can. Imagine that you're trying to put your chin all the way up here on your shin. And again, if it feels like you just can't quite get there, squeeze a little bit harder. You just might. Once you finish set of 15, just switching sides. We'll go right into it. Either foot on the floor or foot up in the air, whatever feels right for you. And then crunching up with a big exhale as you come up. 15 times. Cool. Let everyone finish up their sets of those. And then we're going to come into a set of scissor kicks. Scissor kicks are for your lower abs. So we're going to put your hands underneath your bum, just to provide a little bit of lumbar support. And we're going to straighten out your legs and cross one leg over the other. Switching sides. We're going to go for a set of 30 of these, wherever one is one. 1, 2, 3, like that until you get to 30. Remember, it's not a race. It's about how slow and how perfect you can do these. Eight, 29, 30. Cool. If you've done those correctly, they should have, not stress out your abs, but make them feel something. So we're going to push out through the heels of your feet and the heels of your hands. Taking a few deep breaths and stretch out that abdominal wall. Cool. And then bring your hands back down by your sides until you can find your heels with your fingertips. And with your heels about hip width apart, we're going to push all the way up for hip raises. So you're squeezing your butt and your hamstrings to come all the way up until you feel a stretch in your hip flexor. We're going to do that 20 times. Now you can do both feet on the floor, or you can cross one ankle over a knee and do single leg hip raises, and you just do 10 on each side. Whichever way you're doing them, you're doing 20 total. Think about pausing for a moment at the top so you're getting that good strong squeeze in the bum and hamstrings. And if you can observe yourself, see if you can keep your knees in line with your hips so your knees don't splay out as you come up or lock in towards each other, but you're having that nice neutral stance. And then once you get to 20, you can come all the way back down. And we'll hug both knees into your chest, just give a little rock side to side. Let everyone meet you here as you finish up your set. Cool. We're going to plant your feet down. We're going to come into a set of butterfly crunches. So feet together, and you let your knees drop out to either side just about as far as feels comfortable. Pause for a second here, just give a little rock side to side, opening up your adductors, your adductors. And then we'll bring one hand over the other like you're diving into a swimming pool and crunching up as high as you can and holding at the top for a moment. We're going to do 20 of these. So big breath in, then exhale to come up, and then come back when you run out of breath. Oh, those are good. Once you finish a set of 20, rest for a hot second, let everyone catch up. And the next exercise we're going to come into is a vertical hip raise. So you place your hands underneath your bum, both legs go straight up in the air, and you use your lower abs to kick your feet straight up and down. We're going to go for 20 of these. So raising up and lowering down as slow as you can. So it's like a little kick, a little bit of momentum, and then try and hold for a moment, then lower down slow. And as they start getting difficult towards the end, focus on keeping your feet over your hips. Oh, those are great. Oh. I mean, great in like a horrible way. So we're going to cross your wrists, right? You're going to lift up your feet, creating a tabletop with your shins, and we're going to press your hands into your thighs. More importantly, you're pressing your thighs into your hands. So we're creating this pressure. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds, starting right now. You can let your head relax on the floor. But we're going to keep that pressure going. So it's almost like we're trying to push your lower back into the floor. Good. Keep breathing deep. Keep pushing really strong. Got 15 more seconds. Good. 6, 5, 4, 3, push, 2, and 1. Cool. Relax and come out of that. I'm going to make your way all the way over onto your side. So we're going to come to a set of hip raises. So you're going to raise your hips up and down. First, we're going to keep the shoulder really strong. So never collapsing into the shoulder, but you're keeping your shoulder away from your ear. And then coming all the way up as high as you can. So you're creating like an arch with your body, and then lower back down. We're going to do that 15 times on each side. Eight, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Once you finish a set of 15, we'll just go right into the other side. 15 on the other. And if you're like, this hurts my shoulder or my elbow, you can always come down a little bit further and just try and like, just kind of bump your hips up. We'll try to stay on your hand and elbow. So 15 times like this. Cool. Once you wrap up that set of 15, we'll come into sitting on your bum with your fingertips pointing away from you, and we're going to come into crab kicks. So letting your butt float up off the sky, we're going to try and touch finger to toe, alternating sides for a set of 20. Try and extend your leg as high as you can, so it's like you're bringing your leg to your hand, not necessarily your hand to your leg. I don't know if that makes sense. Once you finish a set of 20, we'll come over onto your belly. So we're going to do 2 different belly exercises. The first one's, not belly exercises, they're all belly exercises. But the first one is going to be a shoulder mobility exercise. So I'll demonstrate the first one, and then you guys just kind of tune along as feels good. So you can rest your forehead on the floor. We're gonna raise both hands up, sweep them back behind you until you can rest your palms on your back, right? So your knuckles are on your lower back. Then we draw your elbows back towards each other as high as you can, lower back, and then arms swing out in front of you. Okay, so we're gonna do 5 of those. I'll keep talking through it. So arms come up, go all the way back behind you until your knuckles find your lower back. Draw your elbows back up and towards each other until you feel a stretch in the front of your shoulder. Come back down, and then swing both arms out in front. And raising up, floating back. Drawing your elbows up and back towards each other. And forwards. We'll do 2 more. Cool. Once you finish those, you can stop and rest for a hot second in child's pose if you want to. The reason why I added those today is that this is the front of your shoulder, right? Your anterior deltoid. And it gets really tight. So a lot of us who work at desk jobs or who have bad posture, this is all really tight, so it's always pulling your shoulder blades forward, and you get this thing called upper cross syndrome, or it becomes just like a chronic muscle problem. So just by integrating a few exercises where you're drawing your shoulder blades back together on a consistent basis, really helps open that up, which gives you much better alignment all through your spine and upper back area. Just so now you know. Alright, so we're going to come back onto your belly. We're going to come into a set of 5 Supermans to cactus arms. So it's the same deal, but we're going to strengthen lower back as well. So arms go out in front of you. We're going to fly up, legs and arms come off the floor. Draw your elbows down to your ribs, and then straighten back out, and then lower back down. We're going to do 5 of those, going at your own pace. Floating up, strong lower back, drawing your elbows to your ribs, and then coming all the way down. And definitely move in a range of motion that feels okay for you. You know, this is meant to gently stretch and strengthen. And once you finish your set of 5, we'll come all the way back into child's pose. Rest there for a moment to stretch out your lower back. Inhale deeply and exhale completely. So you're trying to draw air all the way down into your belly. And then we'll come forward onto your forearms. We'll do our last exercise of the day, which is going to be a forearm plank for 1 minute. So before, when we did our hands and knee exercises, where I talked about pushing your spine up through your scapula, we're going to do that same thing. So as you're holding your plank, we're constantly trying to push your heart away from the floor. Okay. So starting in 3, 2, 1. If you started with me, you get extra credit. But now we're holding for 1 minute. Think about pushing out through the heels and the crown of your head and pushing your heart away from the floor. So all the muscles in the back of your shoulder girdle are working and they're staying strong, while everything else is staying strong too. So we got 30 seconds left. Think about as you exhale, you're drawing your belly button into your spine and up to your heart. Nice, 15 seconds to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Great. So we'll finish on our bum with a little bit of spinal twists to wrap up the core workout. So sitting comfortably. Just going to inhale, raising both hands up over your head, and then turn your heart to the right side of the room. And bring your left hand to your right knee, right hand behind your lower back so your spine is nice and tall. As you inhale, your spine gets straight. As you exhale, twist to look over your right shoulder. So with each breath, you're just making that tiny adjustment. We'll hold for 2 more breaths. And then whenever you're ready, rotating back to center, bring both hands to the sky. Then we're going to turn your whole body to the left side of the room. Bring your right hand to your left knee, left hand behind your lower back. Inhale into a tall spine, and then exhale to twist to look over your left shoulder. Same deal, as you inhale, you get a little bit taller. As you exhale, you twist just a little bit deeper. Two more breaths here. And rotating back to center. Both hands coming up to the sky one last time. Give a wave to everybody. Hope you have a great weekend. Y'all are awesome. And then glitters, sunshine, magic, rainbow, happiness. Thank you all so much for coming and doing core workout with me. Hope to see you next week. Jim, Jamie, Charlie, Linda, you guys are awesome. Thank you.